Come one, come all. It's story time with an alchemist. The great work begins now. Long time ago, in a small village in India, there were 6 blind men who resided in this village and were taken care of by the villagers. They provided their food, their water, and their clothing. They provided their shelter, and upon every day these 6 men would argue and argue, insisting that each one knew what an elephant was. Now, none had ever touched an elephant, seen an elephant, smelled, nor heard an elephant. So after years of listening to this arguing, the villagers decided that they would bring in a young gardener who will travel with these 6 blind men to a neighboring village where they would have the opportunity to touch an elephant. And maybe this will stop their arguing. So as they went on this journey, they continued to argue that once we get there, I know that I will find myself to be correct, is what they all would say as they made their way to the next village. And after a long, arduous trip, they finally get there. The young man brings them into the courtyard. And as they go into the courtyard, each one of them approach the elephant. The first one comes up and touches the side of the elephant. An elephant is like a wall, smooth and strong, and go as high as I can reach. Another comes. He touches the elephant on his tusk and said, "No, I was right. An elephant is sharp and strong and pointed like a spear, certainly a dangerous animal." And then another touches the elephant on the flexible trunk and proclaims out, "Oh, this elephant is like a snake, long and slender and flexible like a snake." While another climbs up on a ladder and touches the elephant on his ears. And he's like, "No, I believe you're all wrong. You're all wrong. The elephant is like a fan or a magic carpet that could fly above the hilltops." And while another grabs the elephant by the leg and says, "Oh no, you are all wrong. This elephant is like a tree trunk or a giant cow." While the last one grabs the elephant by the tail. "We have been had, we have been tricked. They have dangled an old rope and has tricked us. This elephant is like an old rope. We have been tricked." So after a time of them touching the elephant, the young man leads them into the shade of a tree, and they sit at the shade of the tree. And he says, "I will go fetch you a pail of water so that we will be able to journey back to our home. So just rest here, and I will return shortly." So as they rested, each one begins to say what the elephant was. "It was the rope, they tricked us. No, it's the tree stump or a giant cow. It's like a fan." They all began to proclaim out what the elephant was. "It's like a snake, long and flexible." "No, it's like a wall, strong and smooth." "No, it is a dangerous animal with the tusk of a spear." They continue to yell and argue until a nearby guru hears this arguing. It wakes him from his sleep, and he comes to them. "Damnable fools! You have all just touched parts of an elephant. An elephant is a giant creature, and you've touched merely aspects of the elephant. If you were wise, you would put all the parts together to have a picture of what an elephant really is and know the truth." They all sat quietly, knowing that the guru was a very wise man, and said nothing. And on their journey home, they put the parts together and finally understood what an elephant is. This has been Storytime with an Alchemist. This story of 6 blind men touching the elephant is usually referred to six blind people trying to discuss what God is. We all are caught up into religions. And in each one of those religions, we try our best to describe what God is. And we stand strong, and we have fought wars over what we believe God is. This has also been done to fight wars over how a country should be, or how a race should be, or how a family should be. But the most destructive has been what God is. And by knowing who God is, who's going to heaven, who's going to hell, who's worshiping correctly, who is evil, who is good, who is worshiping incorrectly, we have used our small perception of a fan, of a snake, of a giant cow, of a wall, of a tusk, to try to determine what God is. But yet, we failed to be able to go and put it all together to have a true picture of what God is. I have my opinion, you have yours. One doesn't make the other one right, but maybe if we put it together, we'll realize that we're all right. Maybe if we take away all the things that man has added and added and added, we will be right. Because if we all just release ourselves and just touch the purity of God, then we will know truly what God is. Because if God is love, let us start there and all of us touch love. And if we all touch love, then we will know truly what God is. Because if God is love, I cannot hate my fellow man. If God is love, I cannot kill my fellow man. If God is love, I cannot take from my fellow man. If God is love, I cannot be envious of my fellow man. If God is love, then all I can do is love my fellow man. So let us not be like six blind men. Because as wisdom say, if the blind leads the blind, they too both shall fall in the ditch. This has been Storytime with an Alchemist.